essentially will be kind of our last week, because we'll do the final week is just finalizations. Okay? So, I ask, who is ready for their final presentations today? Any groups?
I just have a question.
Yeah.
So, on Blackboard, it says like final marketing plan, and then there's two marketing presentations. So those both are like the same thing?
Same. Yeah, final marketing plan and team marketing presentation are same, they're part of the same. One version is the actual paper, form submitted. And also, remember, I mentioned last week, if there's anything going with a group submitted, everybody in the group submitted, not just one person. So I kind of sent a lot of people to submit, so they can get credit, recorded on Blackboard. Just submit the same document. Okay? So final marketing plan presentation will cover that. So any group ready today? Who will be ready by Thursday? Who will not be ready by Thursday? Okay, so one group, who else will be ready by Thursday? So one group.
Professor, this is also for our final, correct?
This is our final presentation. So,
Okay.
okay, so I got one group.
I'm not sure, I have a question.
Yeah.
Do we talk about the final exam then?
We'll talk about it. Yeah. Maybe something, there may not. I haven't decided. But we'll talk about that next week. Maybe something sudden. I might ask you guys to do something. All right, so at least one group. And who could be ready next week? All right. So we'll have one group on Thursday, and then the remainder will be broken up Tuesday, Thursday of next week, which is kind of technically our last. All right. Okay, moving along. Kind of wrapping things up, right? So we learned quite a bit, things of basic marketing, foundations, principles. We learned that, hey, you can have great ideas, but ideas need to have objectives. They need to have goals, they need to be directives of some kind, they need to be ordered, they need to be planned. Plans need to have strategies, strategies need to be executed and acted upon. And we need to evaluate whether things work or not, right? That's essentially what this course is really about. Right? Incorporating all the 4 Ps and other sort of models and theories that we learn about what it is to be great marketers in a contemporary environment. Not easy work, right? Not easy work to be successful, because success is perpetual. Which means if you did something great, 1 quarter, 1 week, 1 campaign, your next time around, it may be unsuccessful. So success is only kind of measured in the reference to time, right? In the reference to the time frame, right? So it's a perpetual, ongoing series of improving the way that we think about marketing, improving planning and strategies, observing trends, because trends change all the time, technology changes all the time. So even some of these models and theories we look will eventually change, especially with the advent of artificial intelligence. We kind of, as we wrap things up, we're looking at the promotion mix, right? So we incorporate sort of some of the big things, such as advertising, right? What exactly is advertising? What does it do? How is it effective? How can we measure it? How can we evaluate it? Is it the best approach? Right? Things like public relations, right? In public relations, we have a reputation to uphold. Even as individuals, we have reputations to uphold. So we might need people to speak up for us sometimes. What we need to do damnation control. Right now, I really did something bad, I want to get it exposed. Who to speak up for? product, Twitter, Instagram, right, TikTok, YouTube, et cetera, right? So we wanna manage our reputation, manage how we are perceived, right? And manage by just promoting sort of great things about us all of the time. Right? Because we say marketing is really perception. It really is a sense of perception. Value is subjective. It's valuable to you, it's not valuable to others. What's luxury to you is not luxury to others. Some people buy Balenciaga, some people, even if they have billions of dollars, they will never buy that a day in their life, ever. You won't see Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, anything buying that stuff. So it's not for everyone. There's a reason people buy it. Whether it makes them feel rich, they perceive it as actually worth what's being asked for. So it's tricky. Now, and we got things like personal selling, which is probably the strongest form of marketing. This will always be superior to online teaching. Right? A human being talking in person where I can see your gestures, body language, your disposition, what mood you're in right now, your attitude about things. You can also see mine. You can ask questions, right? You say there's always gonna be something missing. Lost interpretation, right? Lost in translation, text messaging, phone calls, emails, social media, comments, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So personal stuff, having a human being, is probably the strongest one. Why? Having basic conversations with people can help maybe identify a want that we never knew we had. Like, I didn't even know I wanted that. You persuade me. Otherwise, they can look at a billboard and make all sorts of interpretations of a static picture, right? Like, hey, you actually showed me a need that I didn't know I had. You discovered something about it. There was a period of discovery. Hey, so tell me about where you live. Okay, what size is that room? What do you normally buy? What do you currently have? Right? Anything a salesperson might ask, right? Beyond that, there's value-added sort of propositions. You think of like, hey, I didn't know I could buy a warranty for this car. I didn't know it was that great, actually. Right? You showed me some things that had I not asked a person, I would not know, right? So some value added. But most importantly is the person. So the person is part of a commercial process. The individual, the actual seller is commerce. The actual seller is part of the product and the service together. Actually something you buy is part of that, right? So personal selling is great. You either have great professors or crappy professors. Right? Some are boring, just go on and on, they never ask questions, they don't engage, they don't get in groups. That's like here's more, right? We all know what that's like. Or others who are like, it's a little bit more engaging, approachable. I feel like I can talk to that person. I think it seems like a real, genuine, authentic person. Right? So there's value in the person itself. They're part of the product and service during the process. So personal selling is huge. And that kind of goes in, tied in with network marketing, or I wouldn't say necessarily network, but I think people are more affiliate marketing, which I'm not talking about. It's more relationship marketing, right? We would say, hey, the greatest customer is a customer that stays with us forever, for a long time, 10 years, 5 years. Not somebody we kind of persuaded just for one transaction. Hey, you influenced me for one transaction, but I'm never coming back here again. Right? The best sort of thing we can have is long-term commitment, because those people become part of our brand and they communicate to the world. They defend us and say why we're great. They speak up for us and tell other people about us. So that relationship, right? Relationship marketing is kind of different than personal selling in that you use other resources. So the personal seller will reach out to other employees Because if he could hear you, he would be out of the business. Right? He or she would be out of the business. And so it's the same thing approach with business, with marketing, with branding, et cetera. You always want to manage problems. Solve problems, right? Always. Hey, long-term relationship. You probably want your phone providers, your service providers, or whatever. How long you know Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, et cetera, right? And you call and talk to some, so you have two options. You can go online and just use the online platform to solve the problem, but it may not give you the maximum benefit. Like, oh man, I wonder if I could go on a payment plan cheaper. Can I change the dates? It won't allow me to on the website, right? Or there's a little thing you can type and ask questions, but it's not really getting to the root of my actual problem, right? So you call and you speak with someone, and that person tells you about, hey, did you also know that there's a new plan we got out, unlimited such and such? It's actually $5 cheaper than the other plan, blah, blah, blah. Right? And you walk away satisfied. You're like, man, I walk away feeling like I got a deal. And that deal is the value. That sense that I'm satisfied. Something happened or this is satisfaction. Right? So we say marketing complex. And then it's all part of the sales promotion. Right? We're promoting something in order to convert people into either doing something, purchasing something, talking about something. We're promoting something to happen. We want something to actually happen. Click on the website, but okay, they click on it, but they left. They can scroll through multiple pages, right? So that was not an effective promotion. What can we do to improve? People click more. Not only click more, but hopefully potentially buy and make it easy for them, and have them feel like they got a deal, and that they feel wonderful. So this is what chapter 15 is going to be discussing. All right, so we'll look at advertising and promotion mix, major decisions, developing an advertising plan, using metrics. We need to measure things, right? How effective was the campaign? PR, role in the promotion mix, advantages and disadvantages of PR, right? Ethical concerns with PR and advertising. Personal selling, salespeople involved, sales promotion, main types of sales promotion, and ethical issues in personal selling and sales promotion. All right, so what is advertising exactly? Advertising, by definition, is paid communication messages, right? It is a message. And we said there's a sender and a receiver, right? The company or brand is a sender putting out a message. And the message either makes you stimulated to give it some awareness or totally dismiss it because it didn't capture your attention for whatever reason. The same with any message. It's chatter all through the universe, through the world. And you are listening to whatever stimulates you at the time, whatever reason, right? But think about that. Think about that for a second. Even with education, with school, we are trying to promote something, many things, all things to make you pay attention. So now the attention economy is hard. Human beings do not pay attention for long periods of time anymore. Right? Something that's gone away 15 years ago, 10 years ago, I say got really, really bad, right? Who knows? And we can blame anything. We always blame social media, right? That's kind of the number one. Or news or media altogether, right? Whether it is stuff that we care about and we hear more about. But we are competing against for attention. Right? They're extremely difficult. And think about, like, well, where's the attention going? It's going to useless things that absolutely have no real benefit to you whatsoever in the grand scheme of your life. It's just stuff. short bursts of dopamine kicks, basically. So it's extremely challenging now. So now the universities are all sort of being challenged to say, like, hey, how can we market better to get people's attention? How can we even teach better to get people's attention? Because we have a struggling economy when it comes to attention. All right, some advantages of advertising, which is paid. Hey, you can reach a large audience. So a big billboard up on the 290, everybody that drives past, maybe 60% of people who are not texting while driving, having a phone call, looking the other way, might see the ad. So you're like, that's still pretty good, right? 60% is good. So it can reach a large audience. Cost per exposure is relatively low. Once again, you put a billboard up, you pay for what you pay for. Let's say it costs you $5,000 a month. Huge, right? All right, well, that's not that bad, right? Relatively 60 grand a year. Right? So it is what it is. You pay 60 grand. Right? So cost per exposure is relatively low. Like if it still reaches hundreds of thousands of people, that's still pretty cheap per exposure. Pretty expensive to outright purchase, but per exposure relatively low. Disadvantage, once again, yeah, it could be pretty expensive depending on the medium you're using. A huge digital billboard ad, it changes and is dynamic, yeah, probably very expensive. It's non-personal. It doesn't speak to everybody, right? When we say personal selling speaks to you, hey, who are you? Personal selling is like a lawyer. Hey, tell me about your case. So I know exactly the details. Who are you? That's personal. A big giant billboard is not necessarily personal. We gotta interpret that information. And we all interpret, bless you, we all interpret that in different ways. It doesn't speak, doesn't answer all the questions. Difficult to quickly change the message, right? Can't really go back. It's going to cost you more money to go back and change that message because it's kind of static. It is what it is. You put it online, it's kind of on there forever. And in order to change the message, you have to come up with something new. Damage control, or change what was being said. Revisit. Difficult to capture how the message was received. Usually we'd say, hey, how many people, we put a billboard up, you can maybe gauge how many people actually saw it by people who, the increase in number of people who visited, say, the website about that product that you put on the billboard, or the increase in sales of that particular thing on the billboard, right? It's still kind of difficult to measure. You really don't know how many people saw it. No. For anything, when we look at sales projections and expectancies, to be honest, you give the best guesstimates. No true perfect science to it. It's not. A lot of it's estimations to some degree. So if anyone ever worked in sales before? Sales associates ever? Right, but sometime during the morning, hey, let's get together, let's have our morning meeting. Hey, for next quarter, or this quarter, we want to increase sales by 12% from last year, last quarter, right? We expect a 12% increase in customers. Like, where'd you come up with that number? How do you predict the future like that, right? It's an estimate of some sort. And most of it might actually be BS to motivate you to make it work. Right? So throw a little bit of fluff in there as well too. I would say it's kind of hard to measure. A lot of things are, but particularly certain advertisements are difficult to measure how it was received. Do people think positive or negative? I don't know. Everyone commenting on Yelp or Google reviews? And even a lot of people who buy the stuff, we're too lazy to comment. We don't want to. We don't want to leave 5 stars, review it, submit it. Nobody wants to do that. Just skip it. It's still difficult to get accurate assessments on this stuff. Product advertisements, right? We say promote specific products, create brand awareness, right? So the products help create the awareness of the brand, or it can differentiate. So you got different strategies that you can use, even with product advertising. You say, hey, I have a strategy. The whole focus of this advertisement is to compare us to another brand. That's literally the strategy that we're going to use. This advertisement is just compared to the next leading competitor. Nothing else. Not adding any fluff, emotions, characters, nothing like that. We're just literally comparing to say why we're better. Why Coke is better than us, basically. McDonald's versus Burger. Or, you know, so different strategies. Like, hey, I just why we're cost leader, why we're cheap, right? Different approach. Information. You're like, hey, this ad is purely information because it's an electronic device that does a ton of stuff, and so people need to know what it does. We're not comparing ourselves against other brands. We're not having some sort of emotional appeal or spiritual appeal. Literally just convey what this product can do. That's it. That could be a different sort of strategy. So it really depends on the product as well too. Institutional advertising. So say, hey, we don't want to promote the products like that. We just want people to know that our company or our brands exist, right? So that we can create a favorable image to everyone, right? And if we create a favorable image, they'll come visit us and see everything we offer. So that could be a different approach. Like, all right, we're starting out as an organization. Do we put marketing dollars towards each product to try to get people to buy it? Or do we put the money towards branding the company? So when people visit, they might just see all the products and make their own choices, right? Let the market kind of do what it does. It could be a different approach, right? An institutional approach rather than a product or service. All right, advertising say assists in consumer awareness. Hey, awareness and you bought something, but there's so many other things to buy that you need to be reminded often that this company exists or new products are coming out. Right, so another challenge is how do we keep reminding people? Short-term memory, right? It goes away. You made a purchase. Think about a pair of shoes you bought, right? I buy shoes all the time, and I just find myself like really liking a few. Like I just love a few, and I wear them all. Like those I wear all the time, and then I have so many other shoes. I wore them 3 times, and I just forgot they're even there. Like I forgot. Then I go see them. I'm like, dang, I do have these. So constant reminders. We have short-term memory. And so we have to constantly be reminded by advertisers that there's something new coming out, that we're a great brand, right? That we are starting new trends, right? That we're better than our competitors, that we're cheaper, that we're more quality, that we're more luxury. Something. We need to be reminded. How do we go about doing it? In-app notifications, text message notifications, new advertisements promoted everywhere, new billboards or flyers, or email marketing, something to the sort, right? How do we go about doing that? And demonstrate how the business aligns with customers' values, right? Customers' values, which is big now, because now more than ever, people's personal ethics, morals, principles, constitutions are impacted by their purchase. That was never really the case 20, 30 years ago, like 20 years ago. Either you made the best product or not. Nobody cared. You know what I mean? Kind of like, nobody really cared that there was political agendas or personal things. Like the customer wanted to satisfy the customer. And that ideologies weren't as out there, but, you know, that comes with the age of information and the internet and social media and all these revolutions that we get. So now people have very much a moral or ethical appeal to brands, products, and customers. Before, people just want the best thing, best of the cheapest. Nobody cared if it was real leather or fake leather, nobody cared about how the animals were treated to that degree. Like, it wasn't that really, I wouldn't say nobody, we still have regulations, but it really has changed over time. And so we say the key, hey, you have a wonderful idea, you're gonna come out with a great advertisement, great campaign. Unfortunately, like, hey, that trend is gone, right? So think about going viral on social media. You're like, man, I wanna do this. You're like, man, that was last year. Right time, you got the right message, it's just the wrong time. Timing is extremely important. It has to be specific. There's certain times of the week, right, where people are buying more things than others. The weekends. Right? So they want to put things out on Thursday or Friday as a promotion, so everybody has free time and off work, shopping on the weekends with friends and family. They a lot. It's a difference if you put it on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. We would have forgotten by Friday. There's it. Right, so timing is extremely important. I was saying about even with personal selling, you are personal sellers of yourself. And so a lot of people get frustrated with college graduates or college students. Like, man, it's just not working out. How come this person aren't getting a job? These person aren't even as smart as I am. Like, it doesn't matter. You think that the best grades equate to financial success? No. Right? That's why I would say the greatest, most of billionaires are B and C students, not A students. Now, A students are the people that do make the world kind of really work. I would say engineers, STEM, like, they allow us to use the stuff we can make. But they don't recruit, I would say, most of the money, like, for the type of work they do. The people that recruit most of the money are the people who are the most practical people. You might say that they're average, below average. They can be high school dropouts, whatever, but if they can apply things to the real world, not the classroom world, if they can say, out in the real world, this is what people want, right? Sometimes when you're too smart, you overanalyze everything. You're self-analytical. You gotta find the perfect answer. And a more practical person says, there is no perfect answer. It's just the best answer for right now. Right? So personal selling involves you selling yourself. No one knows you exist or how great you are unless you promoted yourself in some way for anybody to think that. Right? Whether you're an athlete or just an academic, no one knows you. Right? Like, man, I'm wonderful, I'm a genius, I'm smart. And you're like, no one knows. You didn't present it to the market. There's no billboard, there's no nothing. Right? So you have to say, just in person, presentation matters to most. Right? So I would say at least have like a LinkedIn. A lot of students say they don't have a LinkedIn. I'm like, well, what do you have? I don't know, TikTok, Snapchat, like, well, I don't, professional people or organizations looking to hire, you're probably gonna look at that as a negative. Search and see all your corny stuff, right? And then, but then on a professional level, like, how do you promote yourself professionally? Right? So that you have value, because you know you have value, you believe you have value, your family probably knows, your friends, but the rest of the world just has to guess. So he who markets himself the best usually wins, not he who has 4.1 GPA, right? Even in a lot of companies, they tend to say that we want to hire the most, they tend not to want to hire geniuses. Because they say geniuses, think about everything that's being asked of them, they can't be trained on all this. Right? Average intelligence can be trained. They can follow orders without philosophizing every single thing. Right? Trying to find the perfect answer to something. That may not work for most of them. Right? So think about it. So I would say the greatest formula I've seen in my experience for financial success is intelligence. Don't get me wrong. Let's educate people with creativity. Intelligence and creativity mixed together are unstoppable. Unfortunately, a lot of people are highly intelligent, not very creative. A lot of people are highly creative, not very intelligent. Right? So I think we have a good blend of the creativity is like the marketing aspect. A good blend of intelligence, a good blend of the genius of intelligence with creativity, unstoppable. Right? But is to use every resource out there to promote yourself. Like I said, you are personal sellers of yourself. So you must promote yourself effectively. Right? Think about that. Think about that as you move through the rest of your college career. All right, first discussion question with their groups. Hey, discuss the different advertisements you have seen that appeal to you as a consumer. Now we'll discuss the ones that do not appeal to you as a consumer. Right? Think of some stuff you've seen out there that appeal to you and don't. To believe that you are or are not the target market for the advertising. You think that you were specifically targeting you, your demographic, or whatever the case may be. Right? If not, who is the target based on the ad and the medium used? So maybe think of even products or things you do, services, whatever, of like, hey, you know what, I don't even think they were targeting me or my group or whatever demographic I follow, but I bought it for something else. Why did you buy it? Or you'd be like, hey, they really are targeting my group. Unfortunately, I don't want to buy it still. Still don't want to buy it. What would be the reasoning kind of behind that? So yeah, talk about that, right? Who's the target based on an ad and a medium use? The medium, right? Email, social media, commercials, YouTube, billboards, flyers, etc., radio, etc., Spotify, all that stuff. All right, I'll give you a few minutes to discuss that with your groups.
It's about everything that we've already discussed here. Yeah. Combine everything, all the
product reviews, like, hey, there's a product coming out, and either, hey, I just Google the product, or just go on the website, look it up, but I may need some more information, I may need some more discovery about the product, and some sort of first-person user experience, right? So I can know, what it's like to touch it, to use it, is the quality of it, feels good, right? I never saw it or touched it, well, I never touched it myself, or used it, so I'm gonna go look up a product review on YouTube. And you go look up reviews, and you got the whole list come up, and one, you might look to see, like, how many views one got. Like, oh, the most views usually equates to maybe the best quality video on YouTube, right? Maybe this, shorter video. Like, nah, this is like 30 minutes, I don't have 30 minutes, so you don't want a 5-minute review, 10-minute review. Maybe it's the camera quality. You're like, oh man, this is like, has illustrations, some sort of cartoon graphics to talk about it. Maybe just the quality of the camera is phenomenal. And that can kind of all appeal to you as a consumer, basically the same, all these different factors, right? Okay, what about here?
Mine, so it's kind of the same company for both that I've seen, and it's, Zillow, because I'm looking at articles and stuff.
Zillow, okay.
The best ones are like for the places that I'm looking at, the ones that I don't think I'm targeting for are like for refinancing houses and selling houses. So, yeah.
All right, so, hey, Zillow, right? Zillow is a rental property, well, let me say this, a property information app, right? Shows listings of homes, whether you're purchasing, whether you want to rent apartments, condos, townhomes, et cetera, things that have been foreclosed, right? You can filter, right? Filter by number of bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, et cetera, multifamily, single-family homes, things of that nature. Okay. What about here?
I say add to like, where they were trying to figure out that they make the food look good, and so it gets you in the car. And then, as they know, I might like TikTok ads and stuff like that, because like you said, your percentages are always small, and, you know, you take up some content for an ad, then they like swipe on it.
Yeah, like, all right, McDonald's using its fake food and advertisement works, right? Perfect food, right? There's somebody who crafts that food and paints it, grills it, no, it's like perfect burger and fries, et cetera, et cetera. Or you say, hey, TikTok, because, what it could be is like, hey, I wanna look at something, but I don't wanna just look at one video, they wanna look at multiple, so it needs to be really short. And my attention span, I'm just looking for a quick answer, or a quick anything, whatever. So TikTok is good for short form information about things. That could be a bit. Next week.
For ads like that, we like to send out like Chick-fil-A ads, like kind of personal, and we bring people in and kind of talk about it, and it's like, I guess, us, possibly like for the food. And then like the ones like Dolly Target, that's like, like the ones they like show like all like the medicine, or like, drugs are on the market now, like different people, like, it doesn't like target us, we don't have like those certain like things like you can think of, and also like they're just not appealing to us, you know, it's kind of like boring and all like the facts and everything, it's kind of like going at you with,
All right, so you say, hey, underpilling or pharmaceutical things, that maybe you're not the demographic that need pharmaceuticals. I will say probably the ones that are targeting your age group, for weird reasons, I wouldn't understand why that would be a thing for your age group, would be like sexual performance ads, erectile dysfunction, things like that. You're like, 20 years, what's going on? Right? But that's even been targeted towards maybe your groups. And then, what was the first one? What did you say?
Oh, this is like Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A, okay, yeah. And so you say, hey, Chick-fil-A kind of personalizes their ads, right? They use like personal people to show up, it would be like getting that chill, right? That may resonate with the average person. Last group.
So we said, they had that piece of, Spotify, how they do like Spotify rap at the end of the year to, use like their own data to create, like to personalize their music or ads. And then, for something like ads that don't appeal to us is when, like, for me, for instance, when I go to YouTube, I actually see, like, I actually get these ads, I actually wanna watch, like, the content, video, but I just get these random unskippable ads that don't appeal to me at all.
Yeah, that's unnecessary.
Yeah, it's just unnecessary.
Yeah, okay, so YouTube, you say, hey, sometimes it's unappealing and random because maybe even the algorithm itself did not pick up what I'm actually interested in, or I may have typed in something random that I'm really not interested in, but just for that moment I looked up or clicked on something by mistake, and now I'm getting some weird ads that totally unrelated to what I would normally buy. Don't appeal to me in any sense. But Spotify, you're like, well, if I listen to hip hop, Spotify might think that I dress hip hop, and that my culture is hip hop, and that my taste and preferences are hip hop related items, whatever that may be. I want to start with urban purchases to some degree. Right? There's jewelry, there's gym shoes, hats, hoodies, sweaters, something to that degree, right? Okay, great. Next, advertising plan, right? We say, hey, major decisions. Major decisions. One, we need objectives. What are the objectives to this plan? It has to have a sound objective. Push or pull strategy. Hey, are we pushing the product in front of you? Pushing the product in front of you so that you can see it, become aware of it, right? So that would be a push strategy. Hey, how do we go about placing this in front of people? Do we just blast social media with exposure so we're just kind of forcing you to see things? Are we insinuating that you should go check out this website, which would be a pull strategy, right? How do you get someone to pull to go check out more information so that they can gravitate, right? Be pulled towards brand, a product, a service to some degree. Maybe it could be some visuals of representing certain types of food, and a person may be pulled to go check out that website or restaurant that serves that type of food to it, right? So how would you convey that in the push or pull strategy? Next is budget, right? How much money we have to spend to do any of this stuff is extremely important because it's going to either help us or limit us in our actual strategy. So our budget kind of defines our strategy. Right? We say we have an idea, we got a push or pull strategy, we got objectives, but we're only limited to X amount of dollars. Therefore, we have to create a strategy that fits X amount of dollars. Right? Next is execution or implementation. Right? You place it out there, see what happens, what's the response, is it successful, is it unsuccessful, and then you assess. Right? Come back and evaluate and say, what are improvements that we should do? Should we scrap this whole strategy? Should we scrap this campaign for next time? Or should we keep it? Just add on to it? Should we not add on to it? Should we scale it back? It works really well, so let's give dollars to it. Some objectives, right? We say informative, right? Which I talked about through educational communication to increase demand. Or we can persuade, convince the customer to purchase by highlighting benefits of the product or the service, right? And we can persuade with all sorts of creative measures. The use of someone with a great voice, so to accentuate why something is awesome or phenomenal, right? We use a celebrity to influence you or persuade you because you like that person, you trust that person. just, it's good, it's sustainable, right? It has a sustainability. We could persuade in all sort of tactics that we use, highlighting the benefits. Then we talk about comparative, right? Benefits of one product over its competitor products. And reminder advertising, right? Often used during the maturation stage to bring the product back into the minds of consumers. You say, hey, product's doing very well. Let's not add a lot of advertising dollars towards it until we start to see that maybe sales start to decline, right? And we'll reinvigorate people's love for that product that they once had in times past. I would say maybe Apple iPhones are at that stage. Sales have been declining the last few years. I think the last one did relatively well, the 16. But at this point, Apple really does need to remind us why Apple iPhones were great in the first place, in order to get us to actually buy them. Because actually this took me up their cool phones. Trifold, bifold, flip it out, looks like a tablet, flip phones, you know, Android could do so much more than iPhone, right, et cetera, et cetera. And then push and pull. Budgeting. What kind of budget approach we say? We say we also need an approach strategy for budgeting. Right? Do we budget by percent of sales, which is budgets are set as a percentage of prior year's sales or predicted future sales. Right? So we say, hey, we have a target market of XYZ for next year. This is how much money we'll give to budget so that we can reach that target market. Different approach, all you can afford, right? We only got 10 grand, then that's all you can afford. Right? That could be an approach. Budgets are set after all other necessary expenditures have been covered in the organizational budget. Everything else is paid for, all the bills are paid for, the staff, employees, management, distributors, utilities, insurance, etc. Property, blah, blah, blah. You're like, this is what we're left over with, we will use this last part for marketing. That could be all you can afford. Right? We're left with how many dollars, that's the last part we'll get to marketing. Return on investment, right? Expected return in dollars that an advertising campaign will produce, right? So we have a good measure that usually if we put X amount of dollars out, we get X amount of return. So we know if we add more dollars, we get a bigger return. Less dollars, less return, right? A return on investment. Competitive parity. Budgets are set based on predications of what competitors will spend. Right? So we investigate, we get a spy to go and get information from an organization to see how much are they going to spend on advertising dollars. Right? And we say we're going to match them on. Because we don't want to lose market share. They will gain market share and we will lose if we don't at least match or outspend them. Right? So we can have that approach. And then objective and task budgeting, which are set on the objectives set for an activities plan. So you're like, hey, you know what, let's just focus on one particular task with their advertising, and we'll just have our budget according to those tasks. Nothing more, nothing less. Very specific detail. How do we develop a strategy? Well, we need message components, such as headlines, subheading, copy, images, call to action, right? This creative part. How do you get people's attention with a few words? Is it because the words are giant with an exclamation mark? The words have some funny looking font? Is it the colors? Is it the shape, the form? Is it the content that's actually said in a message? Right? How do you get people's attention just with a message? Right? But we can start with headlines. Buy one, get one free, exclamation mark, right? BOGO. Buy one, get one free. That'll get your attention, right? Buy one, get one free. You're like, oh, buy what? Buy what? attention grabs your attention, you have to sustain it for a little bit, because we'll easily go look at something else. Think of like if you want to go Google, let's say you want to go search something like Instagram or TikTok, and then you searched it, but all these other videos came up, you like might go look at something random. And then you're like, man, I totally forgot what I was searching for in the first place, right? It's like this. And, so, you know, it's kind of difficult, right? It's challenging. Subheading clarifies the headline and provides attention-grabbing details, such as buy a couch, get a matching recliner free. So we're talking about buy one, get one free could be a headline. Buy a couch, get a matching recliner free. And we see that as a subheader. Okay. First thing got our attention. Next thing is a little bit more specific about what exactly you get for free. What's the benefit? Copy. Right? Copy is usually in the written form in advertising, right? Answers immediate questions on the audience. Has established a comfortable look to your living room with their new rich brown couch and recliner and soft chenille fabric, built to last for generations. But ooh, this sounds nice, right? This sounds luxury, quality, rich brown couch, right? Soft chenille fabric, last for generations, stylish and comfortable. Images, visuals to enhance the image. Like, hey, we could tell the whole story in just one photograph. How about that? We put up an image and it shows somebody happy, excited about some deals that they get or something. Here they're saying an image of a family sitting on a new couch and recliner watching television. Next, call to action. Tell the audience what they need to do now that they have seen the advertisement. Right? Now that they've seen the advertisement. I say one of the best call to actions now. Who could think of a great call to action that's been used everywhere? Like telling the consumer to do something, like actually forcing you to do something. Yes.
Join the army?
Hmm?
Join the army?
Which one?
No.
Join.
Join the army?
Join the army. All right. Call to action. Join the army. Right. Join the military. You're like, hey, that actually might not be a bad idea if you're not like working or got some great prospects or something. You're like, man, college get paid with the GI Bill. Know that. Get training. Get some real discipline. You might need it. Get a paycheck. You get to travel the world potentially. You make friends and brotherhood and sisterhood. And you become a veteran, so you have government benefits kind of for life. Like, oh man, no money down on a house as a vet. Everybody's struggling to come up with their 20-25% to put down on the house, and they're like, oh, I can't afford it. It's a vet, zero money now. Makes it easy to pay the house. You know, so somebody might have do the 4 years. Get college paid for, travel the world off the government's dime, have meals paid for, relationships, form relationships, and come out with great benefits. You go to a veteran hospital, et cetera, et cetera. Discounts everywhere you go as a vet. 50% off for vets, like free for vets. All veterans get exempt for free, et cetera, et cetera. Like, that's not a bad deal. Join the army. Yeah, if I was like marketing that, that's the stuff I would put. You know, the government would probably put like, you know, Patreon, like, you know, all that. But I would put like all the financial stuff. Like, that actually doesn't sound bad coming out of there. I saw a hand up over here. What do you think?
Like, visit their website, social media.
Okay.
Like, learn more, stuff like that.
All right, visit the website, social media. Anything else? To me, QR code menus, or QR codes in general, right? To me, it's like a great call to action. We're all doing that. You go into restaurants, those things on the table, scan it to get the menu. Now you get the menu, they actually might get your IP address, you get some information, right? You might get some information from it. That IP address has a city, origin, you know, it has a lot of ton of information, right? So like, that's a great call to action, you you might be able to measure what IP addresses maybe can purchase what, right? Depending on, to check out the app there, or something, you might gain more information, but QR codes, pull up your phone, open up the camera, and go visit something to seek information about it. Here they're saying, come to our showroom today and select your couch. Selecting advertising media. Media selection should be determined based on these factors: the reach, the number of possible consumers that can be reached by the campaign. Right? Facebook, I think, is probably still superior for that type of advertising. It still allows you to really select demographics. Think about YouTube. Like, well, I don't know, how do you only really can use